Hey there, and welcome to Sip Sip Hooray, the podcast that celebrates the best of wine and wine country. We are the two Marys who like to eat, drink, and be merry. I'm Mary Babbitt.
I'm Mary Orland.
You know, if you're planning a trip to California's wine country, it can be daunting because so much of the Golden State is growing grapes now, and they're producing great wines all over California. But the big daddies of wine country in California have long been Napa and Sonoma. Recently, we shared some of our favorite Napa deals. Well, now it's time for some Sonoma steals. And Sonoma is its own breed of wine country because it is big and Sonoma County encompasses so many different geographical areas. So today we're going to try to tackle some of our favorite steals in Sonoma and give you some tips of where to go, what to eat, what to do.
Right. I mean, who doesn't love a deal? And there have been so many stories, Mary, out there about how expensive visiting these two premier wine countries has become. And it certainly is the case. But we did a lot of the homework, so y'all don't have to, about where you can get tastings for $35 and less. You can find really great restaurants that won't break the bank, places to stay less than $200. And we've got plenty of things to do that are either really low cost or free. And this is what makes Sonoma so great to visit. So great, in fact, that Travel and Leisure magazine named Sonoma County one of the 50 best places to travel to in 2024.
That is huge.
Yeah, right. I think it's the diversity of what you can do in Sonoma, the diversity of price ranges. I mean, if you want to, live it up and really splurge, there's certainly that to be found. But, I'm a budget girl. I want to get bang for my buck. So that's what
Heck
we're going
yeah.
to focus on today.
Well, and I think one of the fun things, this is painting with a broad brush, but I would say that Sonoma County in general is kind of the artsier, more laid back cousin of Napa Valley. And because it's laid back, artsy, outdoorsy, cool, that means that it's kind of more budget friendly as well. I think Napa's the bougier cousin, Sonoma's the more laid back cousin. So that was fun for us to find all these deals, and we want to share some with you. But again, it is huge, so we can't cover everything. So we thought rather than even attempting to cover everything, we thought we would do a couple. We'll start with wineries. And one of the most picturesque areas is the Dry Creek Valley. And driving through the Dry Creek Valley is an experience of its own, but that it leads you to so many wonderful wineries, makes it worthy of your time on a visit to Sonoma County. So we found a couple of favorite Dry Creek Valley wineries. So I thought we might start there, Mare.
Yeah. And, if you can believe it, there are lots of options for free tastings in Sonoma County. And we really like that. And one of my hidden gem picks is Pasalagua Vineyards in Healdsburg. This is a winery that produces incredible Pinot Noirs, and you can go taste them for free. Now, on the bottle purchase price, they are a little pricier, but the quality is certainly there. But it's such a great experience. And the folks at Pasalagua want you to come. They want you to experience their wines. And they want to remove any barrier for you to do that. Now, with this type of generosity, wineries are super hoping that you're going to buy a bottle or two, or maybe join the wine club. It's not required, not expected, but you can't beat the experience here at Pasalagua. You're out in the middle of vineyards. There's a beautiful deck you can sit on while you're doing your tasting. And again, this will be for about 4 wines. But you can strike up a conversation with the folks there, get to know more about Pasalagua, the history, the ethos behind their farming and their winemaking, and just really have a great day.
Yeah, and the Passalacqua family is fantastic. We got to interview them, Jason, many years ago on our TV show in Wine Country. Really enjoyed that. So certainly worth a visit to Passalacqua. Another old favorite of ours is Preston Farm and Winery. Lou and Susan Preston out in the Dry Creek Valley. Their place is really cool. And they have over the years expanded the farming side. They're farmers at heart, but they have expanded what they're offering in terms of the experience to go visit them. They have incredible wines, but also they grow incredible produce and they have lots of fun items for purchase in their farm store. They've got olive oil, sourdough bread that they make there, baked on the farm. They've got fermented stuff, sauerkraut, Lou's famous sour pickles. So visiting Preston is more than just a winery. It's a farm and winery, and they do all of it with a real sense of taking care of nature, chemical free, all of it. So it's a wonderful experience for people who truly embrace and enjoy the bounty of Sonoma County.
Yeah, Preston is a special place. It's they're old school, but they
Yeah.
also have a eye on, you know, their footprint in the world and um, being sustainable and really taking care of the land, taking care of their people. And most wineries you go to have dogs running around, but at Preston you're going to see lots of cats.
Yes. And you can picnic at Preston. I should mention
Oh
that.
yeah.
You might probably want to make an appointment to picnic there. You can reserve a table for 2 hours and they ask you to bring your picnic supplies. They have some food there, but, and those don't include wine, but you can buy wine. And, they have private tasting appointments where you can taste their organically grown wines. It's $35 a person and their typical experience is about an hour and a half. Of course, you need to make a reservation for it, but it's so great. And all of it can be outdoors, weather permitting. So, it's a fun spot and a dear family for
Abs-
sure.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, for another great experience in Dry Creek Valley, you can go to David Cafaro. They've been making wines in Dry Creek since 1979. They've got a beautiful 20-acre property. What you're going to find there is Zinfandel, Carignan, Petit Syrah, Pinot, even varieties you've never heard of before, like Lagrein and Suzau and Alianico. Um, and you can experience this for $10, um, which you get up to about 4 glasses. And if you buy some wine, they're going to waive that $10 fee. So, it could be really a great, um, a great deal and just a great way to hang out and experience again. Maybe a winery you've never heard of before. David Cafaro is not a large winery. So it's going to be that authentic Sonoma wine country experience.
And that's kind of a secret fun thing. When you go to a smaller place that doesn't have such a large footprint, you get to know, you get to feel like an insider, and you've got like your key to Sonoma Valley is this winery, and you get to tell your friends about that. For me, that has always been a really kind of fun thing. Like, oh, hey, I've got this really cool place. They're
Mhm.
really nice, and you mentioned they'll waive the tasting fee. I see that happening over and over again in Sonoma County. So no matter where you're planning to visit, be sure to ask, if you purchase wine, do you waive a tasting fee? Are there discounts? Because if you don't ask, you might not know, and it makes it worth your while.
Absolutely. So it, Dry Creek Valley is a great location. And again, if you are not familiar with Sonoma County, it's in the northern part of Sonoma County. So if you are driving north of San Francisco on the 101, just stay on that. It'll eventually take you to the Healdsburg area, and then you get off the freeway, go west, and you will be in Dry Creek Valley, which is an absolutely beautiful place.
Yeah, it's why it made our list because, again, just being there, you feel like, aha, I get it. Sonoma wine country is special. The Dry Creek Valley is gorgeous. These are, you drive from winery to winery, so do be careful to make sure you're spitting because, they're small, they're narrow roads. People drive too fast as always. But so you need to be careful out there. But oh my goodness, you will just, it's stunning. So yay for the Dry Creek Valley. We were trying to figure out how else to give you a taste of where to go in Sonoma County. And we thought, well, Healdsburg has a lot to offer and it's located in such a way that you can get to other places from Healdsburg. So we thought, okay, we've given you the Dry Creek Valley drive from winery to winery. What about a Healdsburg situation where you can walk within a little square and taste some different things?
Exactly. That's what's wonderful. You can go taste wine. You can find some great places to eat, great shopping too.
Mhm.
And it's kind of has this Tony reputation, and that's certainly there. But there's a lot of tasting rooms there where they have very reasonable tasting fees. And what we love about Healdsburg is being able to walk anywhere, and there's such a variety of tasting rooms. And we've got a twofer for you, two tasting rooms in one location. The first winery is Longboard Vineyards, and Mary B and I did a story with
Good old Oded Shaked.
yeah, Odette Chiquette. It's such a great name.
It
Um,
is.
and obviously a surfing enthusiast with the name Longboard. And that's on the label. And also when you're in the tasting room, you'll see all sorts of surfboards. And that's so California. But the wines are fantastic. He has his home vineyard, the Dakine Vineyard, which he has Syrah from. He makes Zinfandel. It's just really fantastic and such a laid back, chill atmosphere. So you can go hang 10 for a bit there and then go next door.
Absolutely. And next door, you can find Meeker Winery, which is a great little spot. It is just, a couple blocks from the square, and they do tasting in the middle of their cellar or on their secret patio. Their wine tasting is $20, but they'll waive that if you make a wine purchase. So certainly worth making a wine purchase. Meeker Winery offering great wines, Longboard right next door. And again, it's as walkable in Healdsburg. So that makes it an added bonus.
Absolutely.
Another one right down in walking distance is Lyoko, which has a real hip vibe and great wines. And, who doesn't a walking wine experience rather than driving?
Exactly. So Lyoko is just steps off of the main square in Healdsburg. And the wines are fantastic. They make some of my most favorite Chardonnays, but the tasting fee there is $30. But again, for the quality of wine you're getting, it's worth the bumping up a little in price.
Yeah, they get a lot of attention for really making some great wines. So again, Mary loves the Chardonnay. They also make great Pinot and Carignan. And yeah, Matt and Sarah from the Oko, certainly worth finding out about them and visiting their tasting room.
Sure.
Just south of downtown Healdsburg is Merriam Vineyards. And that's a great spot because, okay, you've done the town Healdsburg kind of tasting, but what about being out in a vineyard? And Merriam, you're going to get that kind of estate vibe with the vines right there.
Absolutely. So Miriam Vineyards is a little bit of a drive, but totally worth it for the beautiful scenery. You're surrounded by vineyards. And at Miriam, and maybe this is another of those smaller wineries that you've never heard of, but definitely worth exploring. They are known for their flagship Merlot, but you can walk in, although they do recommend reservations, and they are dog friendly. But their tasting starts at $35 per person. It's about an hour and a half, so you'll be seated and you'll have somebody from the winery pouring you wines and talking to you about Miriam, about their wines, and you can ask all the questions you want.
All right, so we've covered just a little snippet, just a taste of some wineries to visit.
hmm
There are so many. There are endless
There
great
are
wineries
Yeah,
to
there are
visit.
425 wineries, maybe more by now, in Sonoma County.
Yeah. So you will not be without ideas and recommendations from everybody about where to go in Sonoma County. We gave you a few, but um, I always think it's a great idea to reserve ahead if you have an
Hmm.
idea that you want to be visiting something, because it just takes the guesswork out of it. They'll give you some information and you'll know more. You'll go in knowing how much it's going to cost you. So I think that's always helpful. So, okay.
Right.
So now besides wine, what are you going to do in Sonoma County? Well, we looked into that for you as well, and we came up with a couple of our favorite ideas. And again, there's lots and lots to do. It's a great outdoor space. But one of the coolest things going is the Francis Ford Coppola Winery and Film Museum. Because, yeah, Francis Ford Coppola, the director, has a winery, and on the winery, he has a film museum, which you can visit. It's $10 and it is so cool. It's such a great experience. He makes good wines and it's worth it going to visit and seeing all his film memorabilia. You can make a day of just being there and taking all of that. And if you're a film buff and a wine buff, well, there's your twofer because you get them both in one spot.
Yep. That's so great.
And that's
Uh,
up in Geyserville, I should
right.
say.
It is. So Geyserville is north of Healdsburg. So if you're in that area, it's definitely worth driving up there and spending a little time. And the wow factor of that film museum is pretty cool.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So we love that one. Oh, and sorry, one more thing about Francis Ford Coppola before we move on. They
Of
also have a great
course. Yeah.
restaurant. So you can bring your family to Francis Ford Coppola because the restaurant is a kid-friendly restaurant. And so again, it's kind of a day. You can do the wine, you can do the film museum, you can go to the restaurant. So there you go.
Right. So this next place is also very kid friendly, and it's really for kids of any age. And if you are a Snoopy fan or a Peanuts fan, you've got to go to the Charles M. Schulz Museum. It's in Santa Rosa, which is kind of centrally located in Sonoma County, and it's just a great place. This museum is fantastic. You'll see all sorts of Peanuts memorabilia. There's a replica of Charles Schulz's studio where he drew all the cartoons for so many years. There's lots of vintage cartoon strips. There's some of the more modern ones. So you kind of get to see an evolution of his style. And, it's fun to see Snoopy in his earliest iteration to where Snoopy is today. There's sculptures, there's artwork, there's some interactive things that kids can do. So it's just a great place. Admission for adults, $12 for kids, $5. It's open every day during the week and weekends. So it's just, you're going to really have a fun visit there. And while you're there, you've got to walk down and at least take a peek in. But if you are a skating enthusiast or just want to go have some fun on the ice, there is Snoopy's Home Ice. It's a skating rink that Charles M. Schulz is behind, or was
So
behind.
fun.
I
Yeah.
know, but you can go in there. You can drop in. They have if we'll put all this information on our website in our show notes, but if you go to the Snoopy's Home Ice website, you can see the hours and days that where it's public skating. That means you can just drop in, come in, rent a pair of skates, and go out for a spin or two on the ice.
It's so worth it. It's so fun and such a treasure that that's right there and that Charles Schultz was part of Sonoma County. So I just love that. Another really fun must do for the whole family is Jack London State Historic Park. And that, of course, is named after the famous author who's wrote many books, but of course, his most famous is Call of the Wild. But the Jack London State Park is huge and it's got a lot to offer. You can many hiking trails, you can picnic. It's a wonderful location and a gem of Sonoma County, and it is located in Glen Ellen, and also within that territory, there's the Sonoma Botanical Garden, which is really beautiful. It has both California native plants and Asian flora and fauna, and you can visit there, picnic there. It is beautiful. It is $10 per car to get into Jack London State Park, and I think there's a fee for the botanical garden, but it's $15 per person. But really worth it. It's a beautiful. You can make a day of that as well. And if you are a plant lover, it is really really pretty. It's located on an old quarry, so it is. They called it Quarry Hill, and it's just they've done a beautiful job creating different ecoscapes there, from your oak meadows to the Asian flora and fauna and California natives. Just really truly beautiful.
That's great. Now, if you're looking for a more artsy pursuit, we've got this great destination that's absolutely free.
Hmm.
You have to go to Sebastopol to see this, but totally worth it. Um, there's a street that is very famous called Florence Avenue, and it's famous because of the artist Patrick Amiot. He calls himself a junk artist, and what he does is he finds junk and he turns it into amazing sculptures.
They're so
These
fun and quirky, just
they
cool. They make it, you can't help but smile. Very
yeah,
whimsical junk
ab-
art.
absolutely. So, what's great about Florence Avenue is all the people who live there. They have opened up their front yards to Patrick's art, so you'll see many, many pieces as you either walk or drive up and down the road. And it's
Yeah,
so,
there's like a giant dog, there's a baseball player, a mermaid, a surfer. It
yeah,
is fun. A Batman.
yeah,
It is such um, a cool location, and it's free. But this is where people live, so you need to be respectful. Don't go on their lawns to take a
yeah,
picture. It is
absolutely.
very, very Instagrammable, but stay on the
Mhm.
sidewalk or street.
Yes, yes, definitely. And since if you're going here to Sebastopol, you might as well stay a little bit and go to the Barlow. The Barlow is a collection of restaurants, shops, and wine tasting rooms, distillery, brewery. They It's just a great place. You can park your car, you can walk around, you can just grab something to eat, get a taste of wine, and do a little shopping and just really relax and have a different experience. But it's really one of the great things to do when you're in Sebastopol.
Yeah, because as much as it's a wine country, it was traditionally apple orchards in Sebastopol, so they make terrific fermented apple ciders, and they're just so yummy. So super
Right.
fun at the Barlow to get to taste some of those.
Sure. And if you are interested in cider, there's a whole cider trail in Sonoma County. Sonoma is most famous for the Gravenstein apples, which are, you know, grown not too far away from the Barlow. But you can find different cideries to go to where you can do tastings and explore that whole type of adult beverage.
So super fun. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Some ideas of things to do. What about uh, where to eat?
Yeah.
So again, like the wineries, throw a dart, you're going to hit a great restaurant. But we were trying
Sure.
to think budget friendly, and just places that we have known and thought were worth the time, and that deliver on the promise of you're going to get a good meal without breaking the bank. So back to Healdsburg we go, and on the square there's one that's a favorite. It's got a rooftop overlooking the square, which adds just such a cool ambiance to it. It's called the Matheson, and they're known for pizzas, small plates, salads, great wine offerings, and again, that rooftop experience can't be beat. And their prices are really reasonable as well.
They are. I love going up there. They've got terrific wines by the glass. It's just a fun place to have lunch or, if you want a lighter dinner or just hang out. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I always go there.
Hmm. And after you've had your small plates at the Matheson, you're going to want to get some good dessert. And boy,
Mhm.
we've got the place for you. Noble Folk Ice Cream and Pie Bar. So, I mean, I'm a
Right.
sucker for a good dessert. So you're
Yeah,
going to want to check that out for sure.
definitely save some room. Their ice creams are decadent.
Yeah. And that is, again, right in it's on Matheson Street right there in Healdsburg. So,
Mhm.
you can walk off a little of your dinner as you kind of cruise the square and eat your ice cream or
That's
whatever.
right. Burn some calories before you have that sugary dessert.
Hmm. Let's see. We had a couple of other ideas. For picnic provisions, you're going to want to head to the Journeyman Meat Company in
Mhm.
Healdsburg. They've got great artisan salumi and picnic provisions. They also have some stuff already made up, like pizzas, and you can get burgers there as well.
Yeah, they have one of the best burgers in Sonoma County.
Yeah. So that's your Healdsburg quick taste. And, we thought some of our other favorites are in Sonoma proper. So we wanted to give you a taste of Sonoma as well.
For sure. So one place that everyone will tell you you have to go to is the Girl in the Fig.
So good.
And it's so Sandra Bernstein created this wonderful restaurant. I don't even know how many years they've been operating, but um, it's got to be over 20. And it's very casual. They've got a great outdoor patio out back, but this is true wine country cuisine. It's local. It's fresh. Menu changes. But it's what you want to eat when you're in wine country.
Hmm.
And so, the price, you can just go in for some appetizers and a glass of wine, or you can have a full meal there. The entrees may be in about the 30 to 40 or so range, but again, it's for the quality of food and the creativity on the plate. You're not going to find a much better deal.
I couldn't have said it better. Um, it is a true Sonoma experience, and it's so fresh, so delicious. They just nail it every single time. Yeah, I don't know that Sandra's in on the day-to-day operations anymore, but her team is
Right.
so good that they've just
Hmm.
kept it up. And again, it's an iconic Sonoma County experience, and it's located in Sonoma, the Girl in the Fig. Um, you've got another favorite there, Mary, El
Yeah.
Molina. Tell us about that one. You've been
Yeah.
loving that for a long time.
I know El Molino is El Molino Central, and it's the place to go for Mexican food. It's so good, such a great deal. But you drive up, it's always packed. It looks like a little, hole in the wall restaurant just off the road. But it's fantastic. Their guac is incredible. It's just you've gotta go. Expect to wait in line, but it's a not miss when you're in and around Sonoma or Glen Ellen.
Hmm. Another place that is certainly worth your visit and was even called out by the New York Times as one of the 6 places to eat and drink in Napa Valley and Sonoma. It is called Valley, and it is such a great little restaurant. They do fresh local food, and it is just delicious food that really is, especially if you go for a weekday lunch. That's your bargain. Those are your best prices. But they do some delicious food, and it's a great little place that everybody's talking about.
Yep, so if you're a foodie and you wanna go to the hottest restaurant in Sonoma, that's where you go.
Mhm, mhm, so good. So it's Valley Bar and Bottle Shop, in Sonoma. So those are some little Sonoma tips that we like. And, I suppose after you've finished eating and drinking and touring your way through Sonoma County, you're gonna need a place to spend the night.
Yeah, yeah, so we've got a couple suggestions too. And so since we just left you behind at the Valley in Sonoma, we're going to talk about some hotels in the area. Santa Rosa, as I mentioned earlier, is pretty central in Sonoma County. So there's two places there I really am excited about. One is the Sandman. It's a very cool boutique hotel. You, depending on the day of the week and month you're going, you can get a room between 89 to $103 a night. And then for something a little bit with more architectural appeal, perhaps, is the Astro. It's a mid century modern design hotel. So I love mid-century modern architecture. So this is kind of a cool place to just hang out and experience something, really, really interesting and fun.
And Santa Rosa is the call if you're looking for a budget place to stay. There are any number of really expensive, great hotels, but you're looking for a budget place. If your experience in wine country is about being outside and seeing stuff and not needing the hotel to offer you everything, totally head to Santa Rosa to spend the night. And these are both great little places that are
Right.
cute, but it's not like it's a full-on resort with all this stuff, right?
Right.
And
And I
and
meant
there's
to I meant to mention the room rates at the Astro between
Mhm.
149 and 169 a night.
Right, great. So in Healdsburg, which is nice because you're really in the heart of stuff, the lodge at Healdsburg Tapestry Collection by Hilton is getting closer to $200 a night, about 188. And these prices are seasonal. So there's going to be times of the year when they're more expensive than others. Winter is a great time to get a bargain in wine country.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of really, really nice places that will really kill your bank account. So it's nice at the lodge, the Hilton, so the name Hilton, so you know what you're going to get, and it's going to be nice. The lodge at Healdsburg Tapestry Collection, also the Jack London Lodge in Glen Ellen. That's also close to 184 to $200, and that's been around a long time, and it's a great little place.
Yep, absolutely. And then if you want a real adventure, if you love camping, you can go glamping.
I love this idea.
I know.
It,
So if you Wild Haven, Sonoma is glamping on the Russian River in Alexander Valley, which is just north of Healdsburg. But you can get heated tents and cabins on the Russian River.
yeah.
And so if you just want to get, have more of a connection with the great outdoors and just, have a little bit of glamour, but, and comfort, but you want to be right there under the trees and by the river, this is the place to go.
Oh, I can just think, wouldn't this be fun? Get a couple of friends, each get your tents or your cabin,
Hmm.
and then you have purchased wine at some of these wineries, come back to the river and your cabin and your tent and just chill at night and hang out and drink. It sounds so fun to me. I would love to do this one.
Yeah. And the rates start at 149 to 199 for a one queen bed tent. Of course, that's depends on availability and season.
Right. There are times when you're going to want to
Mm.
check the weather before you book, but
Yeah. And that brings up a good point. When is the best time to go to Sonoma County? Our friends at Visit Sonoma say that they recommend if you want to avoid the crowds and find better rates at hotels and less crowds at the tasting rooms and whatever. Good times to go are late fall after the harvest is over. So that's, probably November. And then early spring is another good time to go. But I always find that a really good time to go is in the shoulder season, which in Sonoma would be in between the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, because you think people are going to do their big trips for the holidays, but they
hmm
might not travel as much in between. So those
hmm
first couple of weeks in December are a good time. Obviously you might have rain or things like that, but it's something to keep in mind. And then even right after New Year's is a quieter time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's those January and February have been the months that I have found the best deals typically in wine country.
Right.
And the heart of spring or the heart of fall. So spring, you've got mustard blooming. It's a beautiful time to be in wine country. And guess what? That's when everybody wants to be there. So rates go up. Fall, early harvest. It's a busy time in wine country. It's like you can smell the wine everywhere. And guess what? Everybody wants to be there then. So if you're looking for a bargain, plan around those super busy times. And then summer, everybody's off. It's beautiful. Everyone's planning their wine country trips during those times. So avoid the crowds and save a buck is our tip.
Sure. And if all of this seems overwhelming, which it can be, Um, Visit Sonoma has an app that you can download to help you plan your visit. So it's called the Sonoma CA app in the App Store, and it can help you plan a visit in your itinerary. So you can look, you say, I want to be in this location or this location, and you can find the activities, the hotels, the restaurants, the wineries that are in that area, and you can build your own custom itinerary.
Yeah.
Also, something that Visit Sonoma has, and their website is sonomacounty.com. They offer a winery or distillery tasting pass for 1, 2, or 30 days, and you can get savings on tasting fees and more. So we'll put that on our show notes as well. There's one more thing I want to mention because many people may not know this. So if you're local in Northern California, it's an easy drive to anywhere in Sonoma County. But if you happen to be from Southern California or outside of California, y'all may not know, but there is actually an airport in Sonoma County. It's the Charles M. Schulz County Airport in Santa Rosa. And what's great is that there's a fairly new airline called Avelo, and they have many flights between California destinations and Santa Rosa, and they are very, very budget friendly.
Yeah.
American
That's a good
Airlines,
tip.
yeah, American Airlines and Alaska also have flights into and out of Sonoma County, so that's something to look at. And one thing to keep in mind, because a lot of people like to buy wine when they're going. If you're buying wine, you may want to ship it home, but if you don't, you can ask a winery to give you a case box, and you can build up your case that way as you go from winery to winery. And then if you are flying a Velo, um, they have a wine travels free program. So for most of their destinations, you can ship your wine as checked luggage, and it's free. And Alaska also does this. You need to check the destinations that it's valid for, but that's another way to save a little bit on shipping because shipping wine is very expensive.
Absolutely, it is. That's a great tip. One more thing to keep in mind, they've been working on Highway 101 up to around Santa Rosa,
Mm.
between San Francisco and Sonoma County forever.
Hmm.
So on a weekend, what could be an hour drive might take you 2 or more. So you
Hmm.
need to plan around traffic on the 101. If your travel plans have you driving up the 101 or down the 101, make
Hmm.
sure you look ahead and ways that or whatever to find out to make sure you're not going to miss a flight or miss a tasting booking because you're sitting in traffic. It's a crawl,
Yeah.
and sadly it has been for a long time. I think they're finishing it up in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe
Oh
let's say
boy.
5. I know it's the never ending traffic jam on the
Yeah.
weekends, but
Yeah.
something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for
But,
sure.
um, but hopefully our podcast has given you a taste of Sonoma County. It is fun. It is funky. It's beautiful. And in many, many ways, it is budget friendly. And so it is a great place to come explore wine country.
Right. And just remember, this is just a taste of Sonoma. There's so many more wineries and places we could talk about and destinations. And sorry we can't get to all of it, but if we will again put this in our show notes, but the sonomacounty.com website has a ton of information. So you can go there and do a lot of research in one place.
Yeah. All right, Mary Orland. Well, this has been fun. It makes me want to go up to Sonoma and
I
eat, drink,
know.
and be merry.
Exactly. Exactly. Got to plan my next trip there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks
All
so much for
right.
listening, all. And Mary Orland, let's do it again soon.
We will. We will certainly have another. I think we should start a series like wine country visit steals or a more affordable wine country
Mhm.
destination.
Yeah. More bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Right.
if you have enjoyed this show, please share it with your friends, rate, review us, leave a comment. All of those things help in more ways than you know to help grow our audience.
Absolutely. And you can go to our show notes at sipsiphooray.podcast.com for all of this information. And we have a Substack where we'll post this as well, but you can sign up there and get notified whenever a new episode drops.
And then keep up with us on social media at,
yes,
on Instagram and Facebook, Sip Sip Hooray Podcast.
Well, Mary Babbitt, this has been great. And let's do it again.
All right, Mary Orland, cheers to you.
Cheers. Sip, sip, hooray.
Sip, sip, hooray.